and we are recording for Hero School. This is the next special episode of Hero School entitled War Crime. Last, we left our intrepid young and bright hero, Michalis, in some circles known as the Savior and Master of the Cult of the Sky King. Uh, Last we left Michalis, he had just recently arrived back at Burtonville with the backing of an entire company of Mitzelberg soldiers. They had endured a horde of howling ghosts on their flight over. They landed just off the shores of of Burtonville. And when they got to the shores of Burtonville, it was dead silence. There was practically no one in the street. Signs of movement were sparse at best. Lucas, in his infinite ability, decided upon himself to have his familiar, Vex, scout up ahead. Vex scouted Dalton Castle and discovered that the castle was empty, save but one person. One beaten and broken man at the end of his life. This information was relayed to Emerson, the fire team's leader. And Emerson, in his infinite wisdom, decided to lend Lucas his fireteam skyship. You know, to go to Akasha and get more info and stuff. Which was probably not a good idea on Emerson's part. So, Michalis, we leave off. We start off where Emerson is kind of like rubbing the back of his neck, knowing he just messed up. He's like, "Yeah, your buddy. I think he's gonna be gone for a while."
Yeah, it looks that way. Why did you give that to him for?
Well, you know, with the whole thing and the soul woman, like, hey, I don't got the protection of being a kid. If she shows, her face around here, and he raises his hand up to his neck, like he's cutting his own neck, like, that's not, it's gonna spell disaster. I just hope the LT understands. Oh.
I hope so too.
Yeah, I forgot to run it by him. That's gonna. You don't mind if we hang out for a bit, right?
Sure.
Last your boy, informed me there seems to be a survivor in Castle Dalton down the way.
Yes.
We're basically, it's kind of, what a clean and sweep is? Clear and, anyway, look, we go forward, we make sure things are safe, and if they're not safe, we make them safe. So we could do that there first, right?
I think that's a good idea.
And then, like in a corner, real quiet, you just notice, Dunlow, the sort of the communications gnome, the one that's usually very quiet, and he's just in the shadows, just nodding his head. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we can just get the guys together and, you know, Um, so Emerson starts walking away. Hey, whistling for the other two members of his fire team.
Could
You
He
good?
says to Donald, could we get a harness of some sort?
He just looks at you and
Some-
raises his eyebrow quizzically.
The person in there is a gnome, and he's in bad shape.
His eyes widen worriedly.
At least I believe he's in bad shape. He will have to be carried. And if we have to get out of there fast, it'd be good if we have some sort of harness.
He waves at you kind of dismissively. Turns and looks behind himself as he sees, Gary and Gregor coming up. Turns back at you. He'll carry him.
You sure?
He rolls his eyes in the back of his head.
Well, you can still carry him, but you can carry him in a harness. It frees up your hands.
He looks at you, looks at his own hands. He's like, and he crosses his arms. Not me. And then, Emerson and Gregor, Gary, they show up to you. Gary's like, you did what? Oh, the LT is going to have our necks. That's gonna. Did you take? Why did you? Oh, hey, yeah. McAllis, your friend. He's gonna. It's not really. He kind of. It's not good. Emerson just waves him down. He knows. He knows.
Yeah, he's away. Don't. He said goodbye and what he wanted to do. I just hope he'll be okay. Despite everything.
Oh yeah. I hope we'll be okay too. Cause, yeah. So about this castle, we're gonna go there. We're going there, right? That's where we're going. I mean, we've already got there. He kind of tries to like not let you see, but he's really bad at it. We've got the intel, right? Like, we don't really need to check it out, but we could say we need to check it out. And then Emerson waves him down again. He goes, he knows about that too. Because why am I always the last to know? Before we used to be tight. Before this little bright kid, no offense, bright kid. You're called McAllis, right? I know your name. I didn't forget. I know your name is McAllis. You were flying. Look, we didn't spend a lot of time together. You were flying from ship to ship, hanging out with everyone else. But I remember your name. But you know what? We used to be tighter than this. And Emerson waves him down to calm down again. He's like,
McAllis is just giggling. He thinks these guys are so funny.
Yeah, Emerson waves him down. He's like, look. We'll investigate the castle, and we'll discover this guy. And when he says this guy, Dunalo, who's been like sort of quietly cradling his face in his hand, looks up and goes, "It's a gnome." Yeah, what? Dunalo just shakes his head, non-verbally replying again. And finally, Gregor, the Tau Samat, towering above everyone in this little party, leans over and goes, "Oh, what? A gnome. A gnome. Is that where we're going? Save one of your own? That's good." Then he flips out like from his back the giant boom hammer, and then starts just rubbing its large, the large head of the hammer. "Me here and Lucille, we'll handle anything that comes up in the way. won't we, Lucille? And he just kisses his hammer, and you
Oh
hear
my!
a loud smooch, and just a huge
You,
smooch.
you have to stop kissing your hammer like that.
Hey, he puts his hand on the side of the hammer. Shh, Lucille will hear you.
Of course. Cast giggles away again.
He goes, he leans over to you and sort of like, he doesn't like straight up punch you, but you know that little fist and shrugs you in the shoulder. He goes, you remember when Lucille gave you a couple of kisses, don't you, kid?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Oh, don't remind me of that day.
And then, Gary starts talking about, is that when he started smiting you? Because he smoked you. He smoked the crap out of you. He was like, smite, 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 smite.
And McCallus just brings his hand up to his face, getting all embarrassed.
Yeah, and then Gregor's like, hey, look, hey. Look, why you gotta bring up the past? Then you just hear, Gary carrying on just to himself. Smite, 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 smite.
Stop it!
Smite.
I didn't mean to do that.
And then he walks around, like, he pulls his pistol out. And then, like, he starts slapping Dunlow on the shoulder. And he's just going, smite, smite, smite. Dunlow goes back to cradling his face in his palm, quietly. And then Emerson, he's waving down for all the guys to calm down. They eventually do. He goes, look, we're gonna do this, right? Like, enough playing games. We need to get as far away from the LT as possible, as soon as we can.
Yeah. Before he finds out in the next few hours.
Yeah, about that. So, I'm. He taps, the pistol at his side. I'm ready.
And McCallus holds the hilt of his sword and gives it a little, shove. I'm ready too.
Dunlow is just nodding, non-verbal confirmation. Gary is like, yeah, you know me, I'm always. And before Gary can finish, you just hear another large smooch.
Oh my god.
And then Gary's like, oh, yeah, it looks like we're ready. And, Gregor, the Tau Samat, his head way above everyone else's, looking up, you just see the little grin. So Emerson just, hey, lead on to the castle, kid.
Okay, let's do this. And McCallus just turns around, his back to them, and takes a breath, feeling a little anxious about all this now.
So you guys, yeah, they follow you, McCallus. You've been here before. You know what's what. You know where to go. And there's a lot of other fire teams. By the docks. It's almost like a swarm of gnomes and Tau Samat. The docks have an entire line of golem armor-wearing warriors, just making a defensive line around this area of the docks. Fire teams are starting to head out and like, we'll get this place. They're calling out spots that they saw and whatever. And Emerson runs up and he's like, come on. Runs up to someone in golem armor that is not Lieutenant Wobblecrake. He goes, yeah, we're gonna get Zone A / the castle. We're going for the castle. He's like, hurry up, guys, come on. So the fire team runs off. You're amongst the fire team, and then as you guys like run off into the distance, you kind of hear just barely, hey. Wasn't that kid part of the captain's team of advisors? And you dip behind a corner somewhere, out of sight, all of you, as you're leading them through the little streets and, the crevices of Old Town to get back to Dalton Castle. You do come across some motion, like the rustling of some things. You hear little shutters, blowing in the slight breeze. You can hear someone curse you. It's all your fault, and like a tin gourd be thrown from like a second story window. Ding 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 ding. The fire team that's following you, they all have, their pistols in hand. Except Gregor, who's just like, he's white knuckling his boomhammer Lucille, waiting for something to pop out. But eventually you get to that clearing, that open space that's just before the courtyard of Dalton Castle. There's still that hole that Moria had fallen through, and that line of destruction that Killian Freed had made when he fired his beam.
And
yeah.
McAllister is just, it's like all these memories of that fight. It's just flashing back. He's looking down the hole, and then looking at the wall, and he's getting more anxious as he's stepping closer and closer to this place, not knowing what is to happen.
And as you're walking, one of the flashbacks you get is that moment when Killian Freed, when you were facing him, and he said, "Your order will get you killed."
And then that's when he remembers that. McAllister remembers the fight on the airship, and his wings turned off. And then he just getting the image flashing before his eyes of this metallic type of arm. And all these what ifs were happening, coming to the fore of McAllister's mind.
You can feel like a firm grip at the back of McAllister's neck.
And he jumps.
He goes, hey, you're a kid. It's Emerson.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. I was just thinking about something.
He goes, well, clear your head. I know we already know the castle's clear, but we don't know about the surrounding area. Or if anybody or anything moved in since your boy had scouted it before. So come on, let's keep it moving.
And he takes one last look into the hole, and then proceeds forward.
So you go into Dalton Castle, and it doesn't look like you go into the courtyard. You remember like all the guards when they were defending, they had run off to try to stop Moria. As you're walking through the courtyard, you're even reminiscing about that very first day of Hero School where Aelmir had showed up Kita and kind of made him look a little bit like the fool. Until you get to that.
McAllister thinks about this as if it was like a year ago, but it was only like 2 weeks ago that this all happened, and he just thinks how insane so much has happened in so little time as he's looking around the place.
Yep, and you enter Dalton Castle, which it's pretty big. It can kind of accommodate Gregor, but you notice that he's a little uncomfortable. The halls are a bit thin for him. He's the largest creature you've seen in here since you've arrived, and it's not much. Yeah, go ahead.
McAllister looks behind him and spots this big massive form trying to shuffle, squeezing through all this. Are you okay? You okay there, Gregor?
I'll be all right as long as I don't breathe.
Okay.
And Gary is like laughing, giggling. It's like, look, uh, you ain't gonna be able to swing Lucille. Look, if any more of those ghosts come, I swear, big guy, you're gonna be our shield. Shut up. But you guys proceed, and I'm assuming you're going to the one spot. Well, actually, Emerson is leading now that you guys are inside. Like he's taking point. He's got Dunlow taking point, and Gary and Gregor slowly taking up the rear. Until eventually you do find a small out of the way room. It's towards the more rear end of the castle, and you open the door, and you could just as soon as you open the door, it like you can smell it. Like it smells like somebody's been here unbathed, unwashed. You can hear the wheezing and the crackling. Just
Alice just it's like his greatest fear is just came true, and he's standing at the threshold of this door, but he's shaking a little.
Yeah, Emerson and Dunlow. That's the sound of that breath is quickly followed up by the sound of their guns, the hammers cocking back on their pistols.
No, and when McAllis hears all that, he snaps to it. No, Fate, it's him. And easily, McAllis starts to walk into the chamber, and of course, the light of his form is starting to be of most of the room, and that candlelight form, most of the room light. And you can manage to see the silhouette of this little form.
You just hear, who's there?
Killian Freed?
Yes.
We're here to come. We've come for you.
Emerson and they're except Gregor. Gregor is not fitting through the little door, but the rest of the gnomes, they're rushing into the room, guns drawn, and they're trying to take up strategic, defensible positions. Except maybe Gary. Gary is kind of self-narrating right now, not very loudly, but he's kind of behaving like if he's in the Charlie's Angel show. Like he's striking poses as he's getting into defensible positions. Dunlow often buries his face in his hand when he notices Gary, and Emerson is constantly waving at them, trying to get them to be serious.
Guys, please don't be trigger happy. It's okay, I think. And McAllis just eases forward until Killian Freed is in full light.
You can see Killian. Remember, he was missing both legs. He's missing his arm. He's wrapped in like these really just old, sort of discarded clothes, and it looks like there's crustiness and moisture in certain areas, and he's really just struggling for breath.
And McAllis just stares at it for a little moment. Oh my God, he says, looking at his crippled form and the injuries.
Yeah, he's... Now that you're close enough, like you can smell it. It's more than just BO. There's a bit of a stink in the air by him, and you see that he's covered in a cold sweat.
Oh my God. And McCallus stokes himself here. He doesn't. He wants to go near him, but doesn't want to go near him. But then he forces himself and gets closer. And here, I can help you. And he places his hands on Killian Freed and heals him.
How much are you gonna heal him for?
Well, he's also he's activating his Aura of Regeneration,
Okay.
and it puts 31 into him.
All right. So his breathing sort of levels out when you lay your hands on him. You can tell that the clothes that he was wearing is kind of soaked in his sweat. You can tell that there's an infection in his chest.
Where the gems would have been.
Where the gems would have been, yeah. He's got 3 large holes in his chest that go, they're like tunnels into his insides. Like you can see his insides from the holes in his chest. If there wasn't the infection, blocking your vision.
And yeah, McCallus can't take his eyes off them. This, and he's just horrified that he's left in this condition.
Yeah, and then you hear like cutting the tension, Gary blurting out, "Oh God, it's okay, it's okay. Look, walk it off. Just walk it off. Just walk." Oh crap! You didn't tell me you didn't have legs. Why don't people tell me these things? And he carries on in the distance, rambling about why nobody told him this guy didn't have any legs.
Told you had to carry him. And McCallus then looks back to Killian. Killian, we're going to get you out of here.
When you say his name, like you said it before and it didn't register with anybody, but now that everyone's just there, and you say it really directly to him, Emerson puts his hand out on your chest and tries to push you back a little bit. What did you say his name was?
Killian.
This ain't Killian Freed, is it?
McCallus puts his head down and expecting another episode that he once had at the airship. Yes, it is.
And then Killian responds, I am Killian Freed. And Emerson's like, whoa, whoa, hey now. We weren't told that we were going to be getting this gnome.
I thought you were told.
Well, probably the higher up somewhere. Like I heard it took 20 guys to take him down. I didn't know they did this to him. Woo.
It wasn't him that done that to him.
What was it? It was after they. Then he looks to Killian. Is it they did this to you after you got captured? It's a bit.
No, it wasn't him. It wasn't them.
Killian just responds, I woke up like this after I was defeated.
And McCallus is just feeling rather disgusted and with all this. As he's trying to... You really want to know?
Emerson kind of like leans in to whisper to you. He goes, You sure this is Killian Freed?
It is, I mean, not the Killian Freed that we know.
Then he turns to look at Killian Freed. Killian Freed has got like a deadlocked gaze upon McCallus. Just my gems. Give me my gems.
And Michaelis felt a little pang of emotion going through him. I tried to get them. I tried to get them to listen to me, to bring them back to you. But they wouldn't listen.
You will die. You can tell as he's... Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
You can tell as he's talking that even though you healed him, and even though your aura of regeneration is up, he's still struggling. Like, he's still in a great deal of pain and injury. And it's all you can do to keep him from dying right about now.
Yeah, Michaelis is keeping his aura of regeneration all full blast. In of Killian's injuries. The last Killian, one of my comrades, became something and attacked me.
Killian tries to, with his one arm, tries to scoot himself up against something so that he's not laying on the floor. I told them one of your compatriots, your companions, and he has like a look of disdain on his face. He wouldn't give me my gems either. I told him he'd kill everyone.
He became a beast.
So he had the gems.
I don't know where he is now.
He relaxes against the side of the wall. Takes a deep breath out. It's too late then.
Can't be too late.
He starts giggling. And you hear again, cutting the tension, Gary. Hey, whoa! Don't go laughing like that. It's a little. Am I? I'm not. You guys aren't nervous now, are you? Don't be a girl about it. And you see him kind of like trying to back out of the room. I'm gonna see how Gregor's doing. Yeah. He just turns and walks away.
Michaelis just following Gary go out and shaking his head. He looks back to Killian. Killian, we can get you help. We can take you back to the ship.
Killian's still he's still like looking up at the ceiling. Oh, you're all gonna die. And he's gonna kill you all.
What? We've seen what he could become. What he was. And it was horrible. Do you know how to stop him?
Kill him. Tear out his heart. The gems would have replaced his heart. Tear them out. Only way to stop him
is to take out his gems.
And then he slides over as he brings his hand up to cover his mouth and loses his support.
And Akalis just dashes over to him to help him, despite knowing this man's a really wicked, wicked person. Listen, we can get you out of here, okay? We can get you help.
I've already... I already failed.
What?
He just shakes his head. He's smiling while he's doing this. He looks at you and just shakes his head no. Kid. You should have quit while you were ahead.
And Akalis stares at his face. With that memory again of the order will get you killed. What did you mean when you said that to me?
It will.
How do you know this?
A knight's order always gets him killed. Nothing you can do.
Akalis just keeps watching him, trying to gather some meaning into all this. You were once a knight. You can come back, Killian.
He starts shaking his head. No coming back after what I've done.
Anyone can come back.
What do you know about the gems?
I don't know a lot. I know that it has changed and changed people into draconic form.
Ugh. 3 dragons. Where I got those gems from. Me and my compatriots. We battled them. Many didn't make it. He coughs up some nondescript gunk.
Yuck.
Indeed. And you hear Emerson just say that in the background. On the Forgotten Peaks. Following the 3 pillars of the order. And he's talking and he's shaking his head like he kind of doesn't agree with what they represent. Like, it hurts him to even mention it. I got my hands on the gems. And they need to be fed.
The gems need to be fed?
He nods his head slowly. They call out. It takes everything you have to resist. But you can't resist forever.
And this is what's happened to you.
They require chaos, destruction.
So this means that you were possessed too?
He shakes his head in disagreement with you. They never took me completely. Then he looks over to his arm and then down at his legs. I did what I had to do. He looks back at you. But no matter what, they need to be fed.
God.
Your your companion is probably out there right now, wreaking havoc somewhere.
Why did you take these gems? You said they did not possess you. Why did you take them?
Somebody has to.
Somebody has to.
Nods. Somebody has to. You can't resist their call, boy. And then he takes a moment's pause, breathes in, struggles to do so. Like you can't resist the order.
And again, McAllister's just staring at his face. He has a lot more questions for him, but realizing that Killian needs to get back for help. And so as gnomes here, they can help you.
Ain't nobody gonna help. Nobody who can. Emerson's like, yeah, we can we can bring him back.
We'll bring him back. We'll see what we can do for him. You're possessed, Killian. It wasn't your fault.
Assuming you're still fairly close to him,
Yeah.
he'll like use his hand to lean push himself forward as fast as possible before shooting his grip out to you to grab on whatever clothing he can to pull himself as close to you as he can. Kid, you're not listening. I fed the gems. I chose who I chose who died.
But the gems still had you under the thrall. They called to you just as they called Knuckles.
He looks down at the floor, shakes his head. Finally, Emerson's like, yeah, Mr. Freed, why don't you stop with all this? I mean, come on, we'll take you back. Well, get you in something a little more comfy than a floor. And Killian just responds, "Do you choose what you do, boy?
Of course.
Or is it the order that makes you choose what you do?"
I choose. Of course I choose.
And he picks, he never let go of your clothing. He picks himself up a little bit more, looks at you best he can, tries to lock eyes with you. "For years, those gems were my new order. So I chose." And he starts coughing and hacking up, this time a little bit too violently to keep hold of you. And his form just tumbles back on the floor.
And let's get him back.
And you say that, and you just hear from outside of the room in the doorway, "Whoa, hey, we're taking Creepy Pants with us?"
Yes, we're taking Creepy Pants with us.
Oh, God. Emerson turns to the door and tries to wave him down.
Someone gives me a clean blanket.
So they start rummaging around in the room, and they find, like, it's none of the accommodations in here are very good. Most of them seem to be stained with whatever infection Killian has. Emerson tells the guys to start scouting the rest of the castle for something to wrap wrap and carry Killian in, and eventually they do come back with some clean sheets. And Gregor, being as big as he is the one to carry Killian freed.
I need to stay close to him so that I can sustain him.
And you're starting to make your way back to the docks where the rest of the army is stationed.
I guess so. I can't think of anything else other than looking around the place, but then someone might die in our arms.
Yeah. Roll me a d6.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm gonna do some percentages because I'm evil, apparently.
You're not nice.
I am the great and powerful GM.
Okay, that's a 5.
5?
Yeah.
Oof.
Oof. That's not bad.
All right. So you guys get back to like the main station, and Lieutenant Wobblecrank is waiting for you guys. Like, he's storming about, actually searching for your group, right? And he's chewing out other other fire teams. Like, when you see him, like, you could hear him yelling, and his yells are amplified by something about his armor, or maybe he has some sort of magic around him. And it takes your attention away from Killian Freed just a bit before you notice that Killian Freed is slipping. Right? He is, even with your power, he's dying. And Lieutenant Wobblecrank sees you guys. He storms after. He's in his armor. You know, being that you were flying back and forth, you would have seen him and his armor on the way over here. And Emerson is like, oh, he already found out.
Oh God, not now.
And you just hear him yell out, Emerson! He goes, we got Killian Freed! We got Killian Freed! Right there. Right. And Gregor sort of presents this beaten and broken man who's basically, like, he's breathing his last breath at this moment. And that's when Lieutenant Wobblecrank, you already know that he's a knight. Like, you learned this before. He starts activating his knightly abilities, and he lays his hands on Killian Freed and stops him from dying. And Wobblecrank just goes, not yet. And
We can help him.
Killian Freed.
He said that.
Huh?
Mikhail says, we can help him.
He turns to you long enough to get the answers we need.
And Mikhail takes a side of that.
So they, Wobblecrank commands you guys to follow him. You go through the encampment. You go into, one of the warehouses by the docks, and they're already in the process of clearing it out and, appropriating it as a command center. And you see Captain Gaynor. You've seen her in her armor already. Again, you were flying from ship to ship. You got a lot of visual knowledge in that time. And she likes to go around, she's got, like, her armor has guns popping out of it. She carries guns. Her arms transform into guns. It's, you've surmised pretty much that's why she's known as the Gun Maiden. He salutes, Lieutenant Wobblecrank salutes, makes his way to the captain. They chat for a little bit. Gary the whole time is like, you think that, does that make us even? Like, Emerson, my man, that makes us even, right? Like, you gave away the ship, but we all kind of came back with this guy over here. And you just hear Gregor, he's still coughing on me.
And then
Yeah, go ahead.
Michaelis is staring off to Wobblecrank and Gaynor. And what's her name again?
The captain?
Captain.
Tilly Fizz.
Looks at Tilly Fizz. Don't hold your breath.
Come on, we did good. We did good. And then
Yeah, Michaelis does turn. He looks over his shoulder and he smiles at he was that saying that again? Gary?
Gary, yeah.
He looks at Gary, smiles. You did do good.
Yeah, see, we'll be alright. We'll be alright. Then the LT comes back. He goes, bring him this way. And, you hear the stomping, especially now that this is a mostly emptied warehouse. You can hear all the rest of the, there's a lot of other Tau Samat. They're doing a lot of heavy lifting. There's some golem armor wearing guys in here. The sound of their heavy footfalls, crashing and at times even slightly cracking the stone underfoot. As they're walking around in this warehouse. And just goes, put him here. And he starts tending to him. A few minutes go by. And I think, like, you see the camera start panning out of the warehouse to get, like, a bird's eye view. And another Tao Samat shows up, and he starts casting clerical, priestly-like spells of healing and mending. And slowly this camera's peeling out. Another sort of gnome rushes up and casts some more priestly spells. And they're healing him, but you notice all his wounds won't go away. Right? He's being kept alive. But it seems like it's going to take more to heal him. And then when the final priest shows up, another gnome priest, he's healing him, shaking his head. If we don't get the infection under control and those holes sealed, nothing we can do is gonna last. And I think that's when the camera starts fading away into black. And then you see the brownie sitting in front of a movie screen all by himself, with a black movie screen, and he's holding a bucket of half-eaten popcorn. He has one popcorn kernel in his hand, halfway putting it in his mouth, and he's looking dumbfounded hey, turn the story back on. Turn the story back on. I need to find out what happens.